Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And for those of you that don't know, the purpose of tonight's session is really just to touch on some of the high-level features of SalonBridge. We have done this before, where we did a guided tour from beginning to end. Since then, we have relaunched the system with a fresh design, with some added functionality. And the purpose of this is really just to go over some of the lesser known features. It's not to go over every single feature. For those of you that are familiar, we've also launched our help center, or our knowledge base as we're calling it, which basically covers every aspect of the SalonBridge system, how to do it, how to make and manage your bookings, getting started if you're new. It's really a great resource for any new or existing customer to go to. So I do recommend doing that on a regular basis. So what we're going to cover in tonight's session is some basic appointment management. We're going to touch on customer reminders and follow-ups, retail sales, bulk SMSs, so how to make use of our marketing functionality to the best of your ability, some of the key reporting tools that we have, and then we're going to touch on online bookings and also how you can use our PayFast integration to charge a booking fee for your online bookings. So I'll go through that and we'll do a quick demonstration. So to start off, this is the SalonBridge dashboard where you can see your navigation on the left-hand side. On the right over here, you get to see what appointments are happening today, and you can see there's a little birthday cake next to my name over here, and that just signifies that this customer that's coming in today has a birthday today. So the purpose of this is really so whoever's managing the book for that day, or whoever your receptionist is, can see that when that customer walks in, you can wish them happy birthday, and it just leaves the customer with a really good feeling of well wishes. And this graph has remained here since the previous version, but this just shows you your last 6 months worth of appointments. So what we can do is jump into the appointment calendar, where you'll be able to see the staff members listed in columns. And the way that you make an appointment, again, I've said that we're going to just touch on the appointment management side, but the way you can make an appointment is just by clicking on any time or staff member that you want, where it'll ask you for the customer's name. So if I start to type my name, you'll see that we do a lookup on your client database. And if I select it, it will populate my email address and phone number here. I can then choose a service, and from that, the duration gets put in automatically. I can put another service onto this booking if I want to, but if I just make it the one for now, I can leave it as is. So when I click on book, the appointment gets made and it gets put into the appointment calendar over here. So from here, I'm able to do a couple of things. If you're using a computer with a mouse or a laptop, you have the option of right-clicking on an appointment, where you can go directly to the account and capture payment or send an invoice, or you can cancel the appointment, or you can set other status that we have. So if a customer doesn't arrive for an appointment, you can set the status to no-show, and that then appears on the customer's profile for reporting as well. You're also able to move the appointment. So you'll notice that if I move my mouse to the time of this appointment, the icon changes from a normal mouse arrow to a little hand icon. And from here, I can click and drag down to a different time or across to a different staff member if I want. And when I move it, the system is going to ask me if I'm sure I want to change it. So if I want to change it, I just say yes, and then I can say change it. If I click on this booking, it will bring up the information for me about the client, who booked it, any client or appointment notes that there are. You can see I've made a note about myself, like strong coffee. And that's really just so that anybody who's managing the bookings for that day is able to be reminded of certain things. One popular use of the client notes is also to put in color mixtures, especially if you are a hair salon. It's quite a popular feature to put in the color mixtures over here so you can see a nice history of it without having to go to the appointment history. You can also see the customer services over here, so what they're actually coming for on this day. And if I wanted to apply a discount, for example, I can click on this little edit icon over here, and I can apply a discount either by just putting in the amount, or I can put in a percentage automatically and apply that discount. From here, I can also cancel the appointment, or I can go to the account. And what the account is basically going to do is show me the bill or the sale item for this customer on this day. So I can see what this customer has come for, what they owe, and if any payments have been made. I can also do things like add or delete retail products to this bill. So if I click on add delete retail, I can choose an item. I can specify who sold the item, and this pulls through to your reports for commission when the sale was actually made, and this will always be defaulted to today's date, and how many the customer is actually purchasing. And when I say add retail, it's just going to add that retail product to the customer's bill. So from here, I've got a couple of options as well. I can send the customer an invoice either via email, and one of the new things that we've released is the SMS client invoice function. And what this will do is it will actually send the customer a shortened link where they can tap on it from their phones and they can view the invoice directly from their phones. This is especially useful if your customer doesn't have an email address or they don't want to share it with you. You can just say SMS client invoice and you can say send, and the system will send them an email or an SMS rather with a link where they can view the invoice or see what they owe you basically. Also from the screen, and probably most importantly, you are able to add a payment. So at the time that the appointment is finished, you would say add payment, and if the customer chooses to give a tip, you can hit that toggle switch and specify how much the client is wanting to tip or put in a percentage. And you can then also choose who the tip is for. Now, this doesn't default to the staff member that performed the service. And the reason for this is that there might be multiple staff members performing different services, or the client has decided to tip somebody else at the salon or spa, maybe somebody who welcomed them or somebody who washed their hair. And that allows you to specify a tip for a different staff member or for the staff member that actually did it. So when I say add payment, what the system is going to do is capture that gratuity for me, capture the payment, and because I've now paid everything that's owed, this account gets closed for me automatically. And if I go back to my calendar screen, I'll see that the appointment that I've actually made has now changed color to be green, which lets me know that it's been paid. So that's also a nice indicator of what's happened for the day. Your dashboard gets updated automatically throughout the day. So this doesn't have to get refreshed constantly. You can see that this appointment that I came here now for my men's shortcut, it's been paid. I also had a 2 o'clock appointment, which was subsequently canceled, which is why it's not on the appointment calendar. So that's just the sort of appointment management in a nutshell. We do have a more extensive knowledge base on how to do more specific things, like how to edit your bookings, change the dates, change staff members. We go into things like processing time and transition time, which is especially useful for hair salons, but it's not a requirement. So what I wanted to touch on next was the customer reminders and follow-ups. And this is one of the most popular features that we see customers using. So when an appointment gets made in the system, you have the option of sending your client an SMS or an email the moment the appointment is booked to let them know that the appointment's been booked. But then we also let you send out things like appointment reminders the day before, and something relatively new that we've introduced, which is called thank you SMSs. And a thank you SMS is really just a message that goes out to the customer the day after their booking or 2 days after their booking. So what some of our clients are using this for is just as a way to say thank you for their loyalty, to say thanks for coming, we hope you had a great time. And what some of the more advanced clients are doing is setting up a feedback form, something like a type form where a customer can actually go to this link and they can give their feedback, and that gets sent automatically back to yourself. So that's one way to do that. So if I go to settings and then client notifications, this is where one can edit the notifications that go out and also enable thank you messages or disable them. So you'll see here that if I go to my appointment reminders and I click on edit, I have got the create appointment SMS enabled, which is the appointment SMS that goes out as I book the appointment. the edit appointment time SMS, the cancel appointment SMS, and the reminder that goes out the day before 12 o'clock. And these can be customized. You can make this message your own. You can say whatever you like to say. But we do also have some what we call filler words. So things like your staff name or appointment date, where you want the system to put in something dynamically. For example, the date and time of the appointment. That's something that you can't type in and it will always change. So you would put in appointment date in square brackets, and the system will automatically replace that with the date and time of the appointment so the customer gets reminded of what time their appointment is. This is an absolute must for helping to reduce no-shows. Sending a reminder the day before is an absolute essential tool, and it's as easy as coming in here and just enabling it, and the system does the rest. Your computer or laptop or tablet doesn't have to be on. If the power goes out, these will still go out to your customers. The system takes care of it for you. So it's a really great way to help ensure that. And we have a full article on what we call filler words on our knowledge base, where you can actually go and read up about what filler words we support. Things like the appointment date and time, the customer name, the staff name, the business name, all of that can be put in so that it changes per client. And on the thank you messages side, one can enable these and specify when it goes out. So I can say, for example, the day after the customer's appointment at 1 o'clock, I want the customer to receive this message. And again, you can make this your own. You can use filler words just like you do with the appointment reminders, and the system will send these out automatically. If the customer comes for more than one appointment, they will only get one. We obviously won't inundate the customer with duplicate messages. And if you wanted to include a link to this or a phone number or some means of the customer giving feedback, something like your social media accounts, you can do that just by including the link in this message and clicking on save. And you'll see that when I do that, it enables it for me. So that's all that I basically have to do. From now on, any appointment that gets put into the system, the customer will get sent an SMS notification after the appointment. So that's the customer reminders and follow-ups. Again, such an essential part of the business that is really straightforward to enable. We do enable it by default for any new account, but just the customizable options that you have, you can really make them special and just let your customers be reminded without having to remember the appointment every time. So if we move on to the next part of our session today, I wanted to chat about retail sales. So SalonBridge acts as a complete inventory management system and point of sale system. So what that means is if I go to my retail section inside SalonBridge, you'll see that I can specify, or I can load up all of my retail products. I can specify the stock level that I have and also how much I charge for that. And you'll notice that if I edit or add a retail product, I can specify the cost price and the retail price for this product. And I can put it into specific categories, whether that's by product house or just by product type, so hair, body, nails, etc. You can really choose and decide for yourself. But what will happen is as I purchase or sell retail products, the system will automatically deduct from the inventory that I have on hand. So at any point, you're able to do a stock level report, and you can see how much you have on your shelf versus how much the system says that you should have. And what this helps to alleviate is theft happening in the system, but also it helps to alleviate you forgetting to maybe ring something up. So if you at the end of the week do a count of what products you have on your shelf, and you come into the system and you see that this number over here doesn't match up, you can kind of just see maybe where something didn't get rung up, or maybe the product's grown legs, as we like to say. So it's up to you how you want to manage that. But the important part of this is that it happens automatically. So as I make a retail sale and I add it onto a client's bill, it gets deducted for me. I can come into this section and I can see how to or how much retail stock I have. If you get more retail stock into your actual salon or spa, you can add it just by going to add retail stock. You can put in the retail stock code or the product code that will come on the order form. So this is an optional item, but it is quite useful, especially if you want it to appear in your reports. You can put in the name of the product. So if I say we're going to sell some hair wax, and this is going to go into the hair care category, and I've received 5 of these. It cost me, or the product cost was 48 Rand, and I'm selling it for 198 Rand. And when I say add stock, the product gets added to my inventory, so I can now sell this to a customer. And that's as easy as it gets. You're able to customize these. If I want to change how much I actually get into stock, I can just update that the quantity, and it will update automatically for me. If I wanted to do something like run a report on how much inventory I have, I can go to the report section and I can do a retail report, and I can just pull a basic stock level report, and this will show me everything that I have in stock as well. We'll get back onto the reports in a moment, but you'll see how we can benefit, we can make use of that as well. One of the growing features that we have is our ability to send out bulk SMSs to customers. So the ability to market a special that you have or a promotional product that you're running at the click of a button. And this is a very, very powerful tool because it allows you to schedule bulk messages to all of your clients or a subset of those clients at any time. So if, for example, you ran an Easter special that just passed, you have the ability to create what we call an SMS campaign, which is really nothing more than a bulk SMS. You can give it a name, you can type in the message that you want to go out to your customers, and you can actually schedule it in advance. So you can tell the system that I want it to go out on the 30th of April, for example, at 8 a.m. And from here, you can specify whether it goes out to all of your customers or a subset of your customers. And one of the features that we recently launched was client tags. So what we noticed was that there was a growing demand for customers to be able to group their client base into their own categories. So for example, if you wanted to send a marketing campaign just to pensioners, or if you were running a special for students, how could you do that easily? So we figured out that the easiest way to do this was to create something called client tags. And the way that is, if I go to the particular client in question, so by clicking on clients and then view clients, I'm able to search for myself, for example. And you'll notice that over here, I can allocate tags to myself. So if I just remove all these tags and I start to type student and I put in a comma, I can then type pensioner or VIP. And there's no limit to how many tags you can create. But what this does is it then adds this client to that specific list. And if I go ahead and save this, and I go back to my marketing section, and I create an SMS campaign, you'll see that I can now create an Easter special message. Let me just type something in here. And I'm scheduling it for the 30th at 6 p.m. or a.m. And I want it to go out to all the pensioners on the system. And when I click on save, the system will prompt me to create it, and I can see that it's now been created just for that subset of clients. So that's a very valuable tool to be able to segregate your marketing and to be able to schedule it in advance. I normally recommend doing these at least a week in advance. If you want to make changes to the message, for example, you've still got time to modify it or to delete the promotion and recreate it if the message changes. But if you start to add client tags, it gives you the ability to really be specific in your marketing. And there's no limit to what you can add as a client tag. So if you know of a subset of clients that use a specific product, you can add that as a tag. And when you get in a new product from that product house, you can let them know that you've just gotten new stock in, and it's a great way to boost the sales as well. So that's a really great way to up your marketing functionality inside SalonBridge. Those client tags, just as a side note, can be put in under the client section. But if you're managing the appointment calendar on a daily basis and I click on this booking, you'll notice that I can add or edit those tags from anywhere I can see the client's information. So if I just click on the booking now from the appointment calendar and I click on this little magnifying glass, you'll see that I can view the client tags over here and I can add or remove them as well from this section. So just a note of letting you do it from anywhere in the system, basically. So with that covered, I wanted to chat a little bit about reporting and some of the key reports that we normally recommend you do on a daily basis and on a weekly basis. Things like your cash up report, we recommend you do on a daily basis. And this should ideally be printed and filed so that you have it on record. Your sales and revenue reports, we typically recommend running on a weekly and monthly basis. And again, printing them out or storing them offsite, just so that you have that security blanket of having run the reports before and not having questions come back at the end of the month when maybe a staff member questions what their commission is, for example. It's just good practice, and it helps to keep the reports, just helps you keep your finger on the pulse of the business. So if I go to reports here and I can choose a report type, there are a number of report types here. We're not going to cover all of the report types during this session, but I do encourage you just to go through them. We do chat a little bit about it on our knowledge base, but the way that our reporting system works is you can choose a high-level report type, for example, client report, and then from that you can choose a subtype. So for example, you can, from a client report, generate a list of clients by visit, by total spend, by service, by stock sales, etc. So you can see which of your clients have visited the most or have spent the most. And this is a great way to see some of your more important clients, or maybe the clients that have visited you more than the others. If I jump to the cash up report, you'll see that there are 3 subtypes. So if I just run a standard cash up report for today and I view it on screen and I click on generate report, it will give me a summary of the services that have been sold today, the retail products that have been sold today, any gift cards with a total as well. And we do include tips here as well. And you can see at the bottom, there is a payment section. So this is a demo account where there have been other payments done through the system today, which is why it obviously doesn't balance. But this is a great example of how we can use the more advanced reporting features to see why something doesn't balance. So from here, you can see there's been card payments of 4,970 Rand today, and the total that we should have gotten was 220. Now, normally when this happens, there's always some kind of explanation. Maybe a payment was captured late, maybe something was forgotten to be paid for, and it's really important to try and understand that before you sign off on this at the end of each day. At the bottom of this report, you can see an overview of each employee. So you can see what each employee has done on services, on retail, with a total, and then a gratuity column as well, so you can see how much tip each staff member has gotten at the end of each day. The advanced or the detailed breakdown that we have of the cash up report is used when your numbers don't balance. So if you see a payment that comes through or a shortfall on your payments, you can go into the detailed report and you can see exactly for each appointment that happened today, who came in, who they saw, what they had done, how they paid, and if there's any discrepancy in that, you can have a chat with a staff member or with the receptionist and basically just get an understanding as to what maybe happened so that you can get to the bottom of it and make the correction. The process for correcting something is really straightforward. You can find that account and either capture the payment or issue a void and basically just correct the issue before you sign off on the day. The other really important report that we have is the sales and revenue report. And this allows you to see your revenue over a period of time. So the cash up report is done on a daily basis. That's going to show you your projected revenue on services, retail, gift cards for a specific day. The sales and revenue report allows you to do it for a date range. So for the last week or month, for example. And the way it looks is if I just do a standard report over here and I specify from the 1st of April until today, and I say generate report, it's going to give me a day-by-day breakdown of services, my retail cost price and sales price, any gratuity that came in on that day, any gift cards that came in on that day, with a total for each day as well. And at the bottom, we have your totals. So this was the total projected revenue for this month or for this period of time that I chose on my report. If I go back and I wanted to see something a little bit more advanced, rather than just an overview of each day, I can do a detailed breakdown, or I can group it by staff. So if I wanted to see the totals for the business, I would do a standard report. If I wanted to see the totals for each staff member, I would do by staff. And you can see now it will, when I click on generate report, give my name first as a staff member with all of my totals. And then if I scroll down, it will give me the next staff member and then the final staff member at the bottom. All of these reports can be viewed on screen or downloaded in an Excel spreadsheet or downloaded in a PDF document as well. So if you do want to store them, it's not the end of, you can do that really easily. If you wanted to see what each staff member did in order for us to get those totals, you can do what we call a detailed staff breakdown. So if I select that and I just choose on screen, it will show me again staff by staff member, but it will list every service and every retail product that that staff member has performed or sold with the totals. So this is a nice way to see how we got to those totals. This is especially useful if you have different commission structures for different services or different retail products. This allows you to differentiate that, but it also allows you to see, and just as a basic check of what or how we got those totals basically. Again, I would recommend doing the sales and revenue report on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis just to check yourself, and if you can, get the staff members to sign off on it at the end of each week, just so that you have that on record as well. The other report that we have that I wanted to go through today was the payments report, and this in many ways goes hand in hand with the sales and revenue report. The biggest difference is that the sales and revenue report gets the totals from the services completed, the retail products sold, and the gift cards sold as well as gratuity or tips. The payments report will calculate all of the payments that have been captured into SalonBridge. So you may find that there are differences between the sales and revenue report and the payments report. That will only happen if you have had an appointment that there was no payment captured for, or there was a payment for greater than what was owed on the date of the appointment. So that's when the two will differ. But the payments report also allows you to specify a date range, and provided you're capturing all payments into the system, this should tie in with the cash that you have on hand as well as any credit card slips that you have. So when I generate this report, it'll give me a breakdown of the payments done during that period with a total as well. So here you can see, if you remember the cash up report I did a few minutes ago, the total payments was 4950. And when I did a payments report for today, I can see exactly how we got that and who made that payment. So yeah, I can see the 4750 that got captured today, and that was for this account. I actually captured that deliberately today so we can get a bit of a mismatch and we can reconcile that as well. So that's how the reporting options work. Again, I recommend going through a lot of these reports in your own time, just going through them, trying to find out what's important to you, and basically generating those reports on a regular basis is key. You can access these at any time. This reflects live data, so as appointments get captured and as payments get done, the reporting will be up to date. So you don't have to worry about waiting till the end of the day. This can do projected revenue and turnover as well. So you can date this into the future as well if you want to see what your sales and revenue report should be. So that covers reporting. And the last section I wanted to cover in this training session today was the online bookings. And the reason I wanted to cover this specifically was really to cover the booking fee that we've included as well. So you may notice, just to divert off the online bookings page for a second, under the My Business section, we have an integration section. So integrations are companies or products or service providers that we have integrated into to basically enhance the overall experience and your ability to run a business. For example, we've integrated into Yoko, ZipZap, and iKhokha for card payments. We've integrated into PayFast for online credit card payments. We have integrated into MailChimp, which allows you to automatically sync your contacts in SalonBridge with any list that you have in MailChimp. So if you're sending out bulk email campaigns, you can integrate your client base with MailChimp automatically without having to copy and paste your clients every time. It's a really great integration. And we have some analytical tools as well, like Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel, if you want to track how the online bookings are actually performing. But you can see what I've done here is I've enabled PayFast, and the process of getting a PayFast account is really straightforward. It's free to do, and you do get a slightly better rate when you go through SalonBridge as well. So we do include our rates on our knowledge base as well as on our website. It's quite transparent. But the process for creating a PayFast account is free. You just go to payfast.co.za, set up an account, and once you've validated that you are a valid account holder, you can start accepting credit card payments. And you can actually choose what payment methods you support, such as credit card, Bitcoin, instant EFT, all of those payment mechanisms. And the way that this ties in with our online bookings is it allows you to charge a booking fee up front for a booking, or even allows you to sell gift cards online as well. So I'm going to show you how that works now. If I go to online bookings, because I've enabled PayFast, you'll see that I can not only customize the way that my online bookings page looks, but I can also allow for a secure deposit, which is what we call a booking fee basically. And you can see I've enabled it and I've charged a booking percentage of 50%. So you can see that this is enabled. I've disabled the allow online gift card purchases for now. I'll enable that in a minute to show you how that works. But if I go onto my online bookings page, you will see that it will bring up the page with the ability to book online. And if I were to click this as a customer, you'll see that rather than there being 3 steps at the top, there is now a 4th step for payment. So if I were to choose a treatment for 150 Rand as a customer, and I click on next, I can choose an available day and time to book. And my information may or may not be automatically put in here already. But if I were to go to the final step, it's going to tell me that in order to secure my booking, you're required to make a 50% deposit. And I will put in the amount that is 50% of the booking over here. And when I say pay and book, it's going to put the booking into a pending state for me. And it's going to take me to the PayFast site, which is where I can now either put in my credit card information or make an instant EFT transaction. So as a customer, I can choose a credit card option, and I can then pay with my credit card. When you do this, we send you a invoice automatically with the payment confirmation. The booking gets made. It lets the customer know that the payment's been made, and it will also reflect on your customer's account automatically as a payment line item. So it works really nicely. It automatically captures your payment. And just to interrupt for a second, I see we have a question from Charlotte saying, if my month end is on the 25th, how do I start the new month? So with and I assume that you're referring to the reporting options where you can specify a date. So you can choose any date range that you want. If you're running a sales and revenue report for the last month, you can choose to have it from the 25th of last month to the 25th of this month. When your month ends or begins is really up to you. The reporting options allow you to basically choose any date range you want. So for example, if I go to sales and revenue report, choose a standard report, I can just have it from the 25th of March until the 25th of April. Or if I wanted to do it for the month before that, the 25th of February until the 25th or the 26th of March, for example, and you can then generate your report. So you can backdate these reports as well if you want, and you can choose any date range that you like. So I hope that answers your question. But if it doesn't, just let me know in the chat and we can address it as well. So if I go back to the online bookings and I cancel this booking now, for example, you'll see that it's going to redirect me back to the bookings page as a customer, and it's going to let me know that my payment was actually cancelled right at the top of here. So the customer didn't get billed, the booking never gets made because I cancelled the process. But that's how the deposit fee works. And you'll see that on the online booking settings, you can change this percentage to be 10% or 25%, 75% or 100% of the actual booking. So if you want to charge a full upfront deposit, you can just change this to 100% and then click on save. And the system will now charge 100% of that booking prior to the appointment being made. We do notice a slight decrease in online bookings when you enable the payments option, but one of the benefits we have also noticed is that your loyal customers or your recurring customers will have absolutely no problem paying. They will typically be your clients that will pay in a heartbeat, and it also helps to reduce no-shows as well. So while you might not get the high turnover rate of not charging a booking fee, you're going to get customers that are definitely going to rock up and are actually serious about their bookings. From here, you can also enable gift card purchases, and this ties into the system as well. So if I were to toggle this on, for example, and click on save, and I were to just refresh this bookings page, you'll see that I now have a second option of buy gift voucher, where if I were to select it, I can choose the value as a customer that I want to purchase. So if I choose 1,000 Rand and I click on next, I can put in the information, and then the final step will be to actually make payment. So this is another great way to sell your gift vouchers after hours or at any time. And there's really no effort involved in this. You enable it, customers can come here, they can buy gift vouchers, they can pay for it using PayFast. You get your money automatically, and it will become a gift card that gets created in the system instantly, basically. So it's a really great way to make some extra cash and just to boost your overall web presence. Some of the other ways that you can link this is through your Facebook or Instagram account, and on the online booking section, we do walk you through the steps of how to do that. And if you've got your own website, you can even embed this whole process directly into your website. You don't need to use the page that we have. But if you don't have a website and you don't know how to get started, this is a really quick and instant way to start accepting online bookings, start making some money after hours, and getting those new customers in. So that pretty much covers the session that we wanted to have today. What you may notice is one or two smaller features inside the console that are new. So we're constantly releasing new features, and these become available to you automatically. Every time we do so, we normally release a notification over here saying that there's a new feature. But one of the features that you'll also start to get from this Sunday onwards is summaries of your business. And this is reserved for administrators. So if you're an administrator or manager inside the system, on every Sunday morning, you will start to receive a summary of the last week's appointments, retail sales, revenue generated, new clients added. And it's really just a weekly summary for you. And you can disable this, or you can turn it on or off from your general settings as well, whether you want to get it weekly, daily, or not at all. We've enabled this for you. If you do have questions, you can always make use of the live chat that we have over here. You can also give us a call or send us an email. We're always happy to help. But I hope that this was a valuable session for you, and I really hope that we can do it again sometime. Otherwise, have a great evening.